President Xi Jinping meets European leaders and talks about more cooperation. Conflict between Thailand and Cambodia leads to over 10 deaths. Legislative Council passes a new code of conduct to regulate the behavior of lawmakers. Hello and welcome to TVB News. I'm Melissa Hekalea. President Xi Jinping met with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Council President Antonio Costa this morning. She said both sides must deepen cooperation and mutual trust in a turbulent world. He urged EU leaders to make correct strategic choices and expressed hope that Europe will keep their trade and investment market open and refrain from using restrictive economic and trade tools. Danny Cho reports.
President Xi Jinping will meet with President Costa.
Ursula von der Leyen and Antonio Costa arrived in Beijing for the 25th China-EU leaders meeting, as this year marks the 50th anniversary of their diplomatic relations. Welcoming them at the Great Hall of the People, President Xi noted the China-EU relationship has come to a critical historical juncture. She stated that over the years, the fruitful results of exchanges and cooperation have not only benefited both sides, but also contributed to the world. She told the visiting European leaders that there's no fundamental conflicts of interest between China and Europe, and that any challenges facing the bloc at the moment do not come from China, but from elsewhere. She indicated the more severe and complex the international situation is, the more important it is for Beijing and Brussels to strengthen cooperation while enhancing mutual trust, seeking common ground and setting aside differences. She added, as both sides are constructive forces for multilateralism, openness and cooperation, their steady and sound relations will provide more stability and certainty for the world. Costa said the European Union is willing to continue to engage with China to tackle global challenges and work towards global peace.
We need concrete progress on issues related to trade and economy, and we both want our relationship to be balanced, reciprocal, and mutually beneficial. The European Union and China, as you said, Mr. President, are major economies and actors in the world. We share the responsibility to uphold the rules-based order and tackle global challenges.
Ursula von der Leyen said it is crucial for both sides to acknowledge respective concerns and come forward with real solutions.
As our cooperation has deepened, so have the imbalances. We have reached an inflection point. Rebalancing our bilateral relations is essential, because to be sustainable, the relations need to be mutually beneficial.
According to media reports, the EU also wanted to talk about issues such as rare earth, Beijing's position on Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and China's trade imbalance with Europe. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Thai and Cambodian soldiers fired at each other in multiple border areas today, killing at least 12 civilians. Both sides also said a Thai F-16 jet bombed targets in Cambodia. The neighboring nations are downgrading their diplomatic relations in a rapidly escalating dispute. Daniel Rao reports.
Amid explosions and gunfire, Thai residents ran from their homes and hid in concrete bunkers in Surin province. Surin was among at least 6 areas along Thailand and Cambodia's border where clashes were ongoing throughout Thursday. The Thai army said at least 9 people were killed and 14 injured during these clashes, including 6 who died after shots were fired at a gas station. Both sides also said a Thai F-16 fighter jet attacked targets in Cambodia, with Bangkok claiming the bombing destroyed military targets.
I've heard reports that the Thai Air Force has carried out strikes as a response to attacks into Thai civilians and territories by rockets. Since it was a rocket launched, there were no other ways but to use the Royal Thai Air Force to defend ourselves. It was an act of self-defense.
The two ASEAN member states accused each other of starting the latest military clashes. The two sides downgraded diplomatic relations and withdrew embassy staff from their respective countries. On Wednesday, a landmine blast near the border wounded 5 Thai soldiers, including one who lost a leg. This came after a landmine in a different contested area exploded and wounded 3 Thai soldiers last week. Bangkok alleged the mines were newly laid along paths that by mutual agreement were supposed to be safe. Phnom Penh rejected the accusations, pointing out many unexploded mines are a legacy of 20th century wars. Border disputes are long-standing issues that have caused periodic tensions between the two countries. Dan Rao, TV News.
A plane carrying 49 people has crashed in Russia's Far East. Rescuers have found the wreckage, but no survivors have been located. The Angara Airlines flight was attempting a second approach at Tinda's airport when it lost contact. Sources say there were difficult weather conditions. Russian Emergency Ministry spokesman said the plane disappeared from radar a few kilometers away from the airport. He added that an aerial search discovered the aircraft's fuselage in difficult terrain on a mountainside. Cathay Pacific Airways said personal data of about 1,000 Asia Miles accounts were stolen by unauthorized parties. Most of the affected members are from Hong Kong. In a statement, Cathay said fraudulent activities were discovered in some membership accounts that led to theft of Asia Miles and unauthorized access to personal data, including travel details. The airline said credit card information was not exposed. Cathay said they have already contacted most of the affected individuals and recovered their lost Asia Miles. The Hong Kong Housing Authority said today the remaining work of 3 public housing projects previously handled by Aggressive Construction Company will be taken over by China Overseas Building Construction. The 3 construction projects are Tung Chung Area 100, public housing development at Tuen Mun Area 29 West, and the underground link of Pak Tin Estate redevelopment, Phase 10. The first 2 projects consist of 6,200 units. After having several serious accidents, the government rejected Aggressive Construction Company's license renewal application in May. The company's name was then removed from the Register of General Building Contractors in June. Hong Kong foil fencer Ryan Choi won the individual gold medal at the FIE World Championships in Georgia, becoming the territory's first ever world champion in fencing. Legislators said this achievement demonstrates fencing's strong momentum in Hong Kong. They're urging the government to enhance facilities to support the sport's development. Celine Chan has more.
Previously, Hong Kong's best results at the Fencing World Championships were bronze medals won by Vivian Kong and Edgar Zheng. Ryan Choi's breakthrough gold elevates him to world #1 ranking, marking another world's best athlete for Hong Kong's fencing community. Choi said he felt like he could already retire when he won gold at the Shanghai Grand Prix, then took first at the Asian Championships earlier this year. Coming into the World Championships, he really wanted to win but kept telling himself not to expect that kind of luck. He said he found winning a gold medal unbelievable and ran out of words to describe his feelings. Hong Kong's fencing circle celebrates another world #1, and local coaches say the fencing fever sparked by recent successes is continuing to grow.
After the medal, they are more encouraged because of the news, internet, people are getting the news from all different ways, and then they are start thinking about, oh, maybe I should get my kids start learning the sport. But for them, from my personal observation, they are not just get the kids to really try out one time, but they are really looking for a lifetime sport.
The Hong Kong men's fall fencing team made history last year by winning their first ever FIE Fall World Cup team gold medal on home soil. Gao added with the home advantage at the National Games later this year, the Hong Kong team is poised to achieve another outstanding result, further elevating the sport's popularity to new heights. Last year's policy address proposed building a dedicated fencing sports complex with training and competition facilities. However, with no site selected yet, the National Games event will be held at Kai Tak Sports Centre instead. Legislators warn this delay may cause Hong Kong to miss a crucial development window for fencing.
We still don't have the planning, and we still don't have the places that we know that they are going to build. But as we know that they are still planning and not yet have the conclusion to make it happen, so we do think that this is kind of slow down it's kind of slow down our fencing developing steps.
He recommends the government follow international examples from Europe, America and the mainland by first building air-supported dome stadiums, a temporary solution that could meet needs for the next 5 to 15 years while permanent facilities are planned. Celine Chan, TVB News.
The Legislative Council has passed a new code of conduct to regulate the behavior of lawmakers. The new code comes into effect in the next term. Min Mo-Singai reports.
我宣布議案獲得通過。
In a meeting at the Legislative Council on Wednesday, the new Code of Conduct was unanimously passed. The code aims to refine the requirements of lawmakers' behavior, ethics, and duties. Lawmakers will receive sanctions depending on the level of misconduct. For example, if lawmakers leave Hong Kong for more than 2 days while LegCo is in session, they must inform the Secretariat before departure. If a member's absence for a meeting causes adjournment and the LegCo president isn't dissatisfied, there's a valid reason for the absence. The lawmaker will be liable to pay a financial penalty. Lawmakers explained their reasons for supporting the new code.
We have had a painful lesson. Now, because of the mutual destructive camps, the operation of LegCo has been undermined. There are lots of blind spots that government officials may have. That's why the LegCo members must represent the public to put forward constructive views and monitor the governance of the government.
LegCo President Andrew Leung said the amendments within the code are not harsh.
We are just focusing on all the expectation from ourselves and also from the Hong Kong people, the expectation of legislative councillor, what should they do?
Learn that the authorities have no plans to amend any other rules of procedure. Min Mo-Singai, TVB News.
Still ahead, another prisoner exchange between Ukraine and Russia. And a job fair that helps members of ethnic minority groups in the city. Ukrainian prisoners of war were returned from Russia late Wednesday in the 9th stage of a prisoner exchange agreed by the two sides in Istanbul. Daniel Rao tells us more.
According to Ukrainian officials, the released captives included personnel from Ukraine's State Border Guard, Navy and Territorial Defense Forces. Officials said some of the former prisoners had been held for over 3 years after being captured during the defense of Mariupol. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said seriously ill and seriously injured defenders are returning home, adding it is important the exchanges continue. It comes as a third round of direct talks aimed at securing a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine got underway in Istanbul. The Ukrainian delegation to the talks stressed Kyiv's top priorities were a meeting between Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin and a real ceasefire ending all strikes on civilian infrastructure. The Ukrainian delegation proposed holding such a meeting in August to satisfy the deadline set by US President Donald Trump. Trump recently handed the Kremlin a 50-day ultimatum to reach a peace deal or face steep trade tariffs. Russian officials reiterated a peace agreement needs to be finalized before the two leaders meet. Meanwhile, people in Ukraine took to the streets for a second day to protest a new law they say weakens the country's anti-corruption watchdogs. The legislation has put increased pressure on President Volodymyr Zelensky and endangered his public support at a critical phase of the war. The legislation tightens government oversight of two key anti-corruption agencies. Critics say the step could significantly weaken the independence of those agencies and give Zelensky's circle greater influence over investigations. Zelensky acknowledged the protests and criticism in his nightly address. He said government and law enforcement agencies had agreed to come up with specific steps to strengthen the rule of law in Ukraine. Zelensky said those recommendations would lead to a bill he would propose to Parliament to safeguard the autonomy of the agencies. Daniel, TV News.
Back locally, the Labour Department and a political party are holding a two-day multicultural workplace job fair at McPherson Stadium with positions for ethnic minorities. Samantha Lee reports.
The Labour Department has teamed up with the DAB party to organize a job fair with about 50 organizations taking part. At least 2,300 jobs are being offered, including engineers, accountants, spa therapists, and chefs, many of which are suitable for ethnic minorities. Over 93% of the vacancies are full-time jobs, with monthly salaries ranging from $12,000 to $22,000. Citybus is one of the participating organizations, which welcomes ethnic minorities to become bus captains.
I think they have their capability to be a very good bus captain. When they join us, we will have a look of their ability, for example, their language. Some of them, the English is very good. Actually, we have some bus route, for example, airport route or open top sightseeing route. I think those routes is very, very suitable for them to perform their duties.
Some job seekers said their inability to speak Cantonese hinders their opportunities.
Like the Cantonese need to be fluent in Cantonese, but that's the hard part, the Cantonese. Maybe like mix in English and Cantonese mix, maybe that would be better.
A Muslim solicitor said many non-Chinese speaking employees found it difficult explaining their culture to colleagues, leading to misunderstanding.
Sometimes because of they have to pray, they have to eat halal food, and also they have to do fasting, the religious practice. Sometimes they may conflict with the local Chinese employees or miscommunications with the Chinese employees.
If job seekers want to know more about the opportunities in the market, they can come to the talks and workshops, which can provide some insights. Samantha Lee, TV News.
Wuxiang County in Shaanxi Province is the former site of China's 8th Route Army headquarters during the war against Japanese aggression in the Second World War. Some veterans remembered combatants that went to war despite suffering from wounds and hunger. Danny Zhou has more.
It was in 1937 when Japan launched a full-scale invasion on China, which led to the second cooperation between Kuomintang and the Chinese Communist Party. The 8th Route Army, under the command of the Chinese Communist Party, was headquartered in Wuxiang, Shaanxi, and played a significant role in the 8 years of fighting against Japanese forces in northern China. 98-year-old Li Jingshui joined the army when he was just 17 and served at the 129th Division. He said the war coincided with severe drought, which left him scarcely any food. Even worse, his left foot had been shot. But he did not hesitate to rush to the battlefield. It was a national ordeal, Li said. People in good conscience should stand up to save the country with guns. Multiple locations in Wuxiang related to the 8th Route Army are reserved in good hands, turning into red tourist sites. The suitcase and chairs used by Commander-in-Chief Zhu De are on display at the 8th Route Army Taihang Memorial Hall. There are also exhibits of the battle at Pingxingguan in 1937, the first major victory of the Chinese army on the front line, where more than 1,000 Japanese soldiers were ambushed and killed. The 8th Route Army also has historical links with Hong Kong. Liao Chengzhi founded the army's office under the name of Yuehua Company at Central, which was responsible for collecting overseas donation. His photo with Song Qingling at the time was shown in the Memorial Hall. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.